Hello, I'm Julie. Thanks for joining me today. And in this video, instead of using stickers to make my spread for the week of May the 19th to the 25th, I'm going to be using some beautiful pet tapes and doing a little bit of stamping. So if you like to change things up in your planner or journal, then stay tuned for some creative ideas. I picked up this really beautiful pet tape from DoodleDiarys recently, and it is Flower Day on the 20th of May, and I thought that was the perfect opportunity to put these to use. I also have this other tape from DoodleDiarys that I bought last year, and I'm not going to be using the flowers, but I thought I might bring in some of the beautiful girls. One of the things I really like to do with floral stickers is layer them with script washi. It creates a really pretty effect on your page, but I'm running a little low on my script washi, and I also bought this stamp from DoodleDiarys with this scripty writing, so I thought I would use that in this spread. I've got to decide whether to put the florals along the bottom, or the bottom and the top, or just the sides, or all the way round. But I think if I'm using this stamp, the easiest thing would be for me to ink up the edge of the page and add the florals to the design. I would class myself as a beginner stamper. I'm just putting some paper down underneath because the ink may go over the edge. I'm using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I think I will have to ink this up a couple of times. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but as I bought this stamp and I'm trying to use my stash, I want to make sure I put this to use in my spreads. Here goes. I'm not sure about the fact that it leaves the corner bare, or whether I should start up here. Maybe I will start up higher. I've not done it particularly straight, but I'm hoping once the florals layer over the top, it won't really notice that much. It doesn't look as sharp as it did on the paper that I used in my haul video where I tried it out for the first time. And I know that inks can perform differently on different papers. So I'm hoping that it is going to dry and not be one of these papers where the ink doesn't really sink into it very well. I think you can buy stamp pads that have a grid on them, and then it does make it easier to line it up, but I don't think it's going to matter, as I say, because I'll be covering a lot of this up. Better move this down a little bit further, and here we go. That one I got straight at least. I think I will have to leave that to dry for a little while because I don't want this to smudge when I layer it over the top. I do find it quite awkward working with pet tapes, and I know they're super sticky, so if you don't get them stuck right the first time, then you could be in trouble. I've cut it so that it's a little bit easier to manage. And I'm wondering if the trick is to do it a little bit at a time. So I've still got the backing on, to just have a little bit of it showing. I'll try this method. If it doesn't work, then maybe next time I'll try something different. I think it might be a good idea to grab a ruler or something, and then I can take it down a little bit at a time. Like that. I think that worked pretty well. And I think because we've got these little gaps, I'll add some scalloped washi from Planything to cover them up a little bit. That's a really pretty start. Now normally I would do the same on the other side, but I'm thinking of doing something different so that I'm leaving enough room for journaling. This is my creative journal, and at the moment I'm using dot grid pages from Live Love Posh. Let's see how that will look. I do like balance on my spread, so if I've got florals on this side, I do want to have them on this side, but if I do the same, I haven't got an awful lot of room, although I could draw my own boxes and make them big. Decisions, decisions. I think we will go in with the stamp again on this side, but I'll take the stamp off the page so it doesn't come out quite as far as this side did. Have you ever tried inking in your journal or planner? I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit scary. Because if you make a mistake, you can't exactly rub it out. That's why if you've got filler paper, it's a good idea to use that. Then if it goes wrong, you could start again. Unfortunately, I've got last week's spread on the back of this page, so if it goes wrong, I can't just throw it away. I think that didn't go quite as deep as this one did. I don't think I want to have this really large flower because it's much bigger than all the ones on the other side. So we might start from here. I can save that and use that somewhere else. I've not given myself much extra length on this one, so I'll have to be careful, because you don't want to start sticking it down and then find it runs out before you get to the bottom, although you could just add another piece on. I find it's not too hard to peel the backing off these from Doodle Diaries. folded it down a little bit, and I'm going to try the same approach. I hope it works out okay. This has got a sort of shell, I think it was described as, effect to it with little holographic reflections, which is really pretty. Okay, I probably like that side better than that one, but that's what this is all about, giving things a go. So that seems to be a good method to use to apply the pet tape. I don't think this one went down quite as straight. I can see a little gap, but I don't think anyone will really notice too much. And I don't know why, but instead of putting the washi here, I think it would be quite good to put it here and make a defined edge for the journaling. So I'm going to do that. I hope I don't think it looks a little bit strange later. So I do like everything to balance up. But I think because the script went right to the end of the page on that one, whereas it didn't on this one, I didn't need the washi to cover it up. Now I'm thinking I can mask the fact that these lines aren't quite straight by covering up some of those edges. I'm using boxes from MojoJojo Plans. I'm not sure whether to use this paler yellow or this really bright yellow. I feel like the bright one is too much, although that is quite bright, but I'm leaning towards this one. I think the look I want is more spring pastels. I think I might add some girls before I add any more boxes so that I can see where I've got room. This girl is one of my favourites. What I'll probably do is cut around a little bit. Add her. That was rather fiddly to cut out. And I think I want her at the bottom here. I need to do a little bit of whiting out. She is down. Apologies if there is a lot of glare. One of the worst things that could happen when you're filming is that the video can mysteriously switch itself off, or sometimes you switch it off and forget to switch it back on. I'm not sure which happened, but I hope you haven't missed much. I did stick one sticker down and I've peeled it off because it wasn't quite straight. So here we go again with this girl. I'm I want to see if I can get it in the right place this time. It was a little bit too far over, but I have no idea what I've said and what I haven't, so hopefully you didn't miss too much. I think I also added a box because I wanted to cover up a little bit more of the lines that weren't quite straight. And I feel that if we have the girl there, it's just too crowded. So even though this will blend in a little bit with the florals on the side, I'm going to put the girl here, maybe a little bit further over. Like that. Not sure how I feel about that, but at least the girls are spread out. And we haven't got much of this peach over this side, so I'll make sure I put a peach box. So that side is done. On the whole, I do tend to decorate one page first and then use that to help me balance up the other side. And it's fairly easy because I know I'm going to bring in pink, peach and yellow in some shape or form, maybe rotating the boxes over on this page. So did you shop the Happy Planner Back to School release at all? I'm a little bit disappointed that they haven't had any unboxings over on YouTube. Although there wasn't really anything much that caught my eye. I am pleased that they've added the teacher layout to the custom planner options, so that if you want a non-teacher cover but the teacher layout, you can now do that, because I use the teacher planner for my social media planner. Oh, and I've got some ink on my hands. Another lesson learned, I should have washed my hands after inking the page, but we'll deal with that later. Luckily it isn't too bad. And I will just white it out and then I'm going to cover it up with a box sticker here. Although that doesn't look straight. I think that's better. And I need at least one more girl over here, otherwise it looks a bit odd with 3 and then 1. So maybe one down here. This one can sit right at the bottom here. And I just need a peach box to balance that one up. And I've just found out why I got ink on my hands, because I didn't put the lid back on the ink pad. So definitely another tip to learn from my mistakes. I've now managed to get ink all over my MojoJojo Plans sticker book. Luckily I've managed to wipe most of it away. Which makes me wonder about this ink. I thought it was a permanent ink, but maybe not. I probably need to do a little bit more research into my ink types. One last box. Found this "Live Life in Full Bloom," which I think is the perfect quote for this Flower Day spread with all the lovely ladies, but I don't think it's going to fit anywhere, obviously. So I'm thinking of having "Live Life" and then maybe "In Full Bloom" here if it will fit. I think it's the bloom that's going to be the issue, but it might just fit somewhere here. So we'll have "Live Life." And I should be able to get the bloom here. And then the "in." And I'll add some little dots. Like that. "Live Life in Full Bloom." Perfect. I think the boxes look a little bit plain. I always have this problem because I want to leave as much space for writing, so I don't want to add too much to the boxes. But I could add lines to some of the boxes, although I don't want to add mild liners like I did in last week's spread, because I think they would draw attention away from the pretty borders. Some things I sometimes do to dress up the boxes is add a touch of washi or use those little flag stickers so they don't take up too much space. But I'm going to stop there and have a little think about it and decide later. But that's my spread. I think the experiment worked really well. I've learned a few things, but I really love the look of the flowers over the top of the script stamp. And these girls are super pretty. I don't know how well you can see, hopefully you can. It's very shiny. Hope you've enjoyed watching me experiment with pet tape and stamps in my planner. And in just over a week, I'm going to be doing something else new on my channel. And that's a collab with Laurie Dean Plans, where we'll both be making a spread on the same theme. If you haven't seen Laurie's channel, then do check it out. The information will be in my video description, along with my links and discount codes if you want to shop Doodle Diaries, Planything or MojoJojo Plans. And if you love floral spreads, you might want to check out this video where I give lots of tips about how to use florals in your planner spreads with some after the pen spread examples. We're having some lovely weather here in the UK at the moment, so I hope you are too wherever you are. Have a great week, happy planning, take care and see you soon.